Ladies and gentlemen, happy Thursday night or Friday. Welcome to Group Chat. The world is fucking crazy.
Burning, crazy. Some may say.
Quite literally burning. Our divisiveness has reached a new level. And this is not a scary clickbait headline because we try not to do that here on the show. Shit's just crazy.
Can't deny
That's
it.
Wild.
Can't deny it. And on top of all that, if you're into tech stocks, man, things are looking up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Killing people.
If you're into killing people, guns, or technology stocks,
Through the roof.
things are looking good for you.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we're just saying. I mean,
Those are facts.
America's America.
These are not alternative facts.
No, these are facts. So we're going to get into all that. There's a lot of news to talk about. And it just keeps getting wilder. I can't believe here we are again, another Friday. And things are crazier than we could have guessed last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wild
Well, let's
stuff.
get into it, man. I just want to say I love all of you. We are all united in this room. There is no...
Why are you making eye contact with me so hard?
When drama
You seem lonely over there.
sent the ad to Pete, he said a word I can't say.
I used the slur.
Yeah.
I did. But we can use that.
Yeah, you guys can use it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it, guys.
You wanna oh, it's a W card?
I don't want a W card.
H card. You know what's in there?
I can get it to you. It's not as hot as that H card, man. But
No. It's pretty low on the totem pole.
yeah, no
of
one's really
cards.
waiting in line for the white
No,
card.
no, I think
Oh, shit. Okay.
You the man.
Time for some group chat.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey guys, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Or Thursday night, depending on how avid of a group chat listener you are.
Or Thursday evening if Tim's fast.
Or Thursday evening if Tim can work like he used to with that mustache. Back when he had a mustache. What's up,
It's a
guys?
happy Friday. I wouldn't say it's a happy Friday.
Well, you might be right. I mean, this is what's crazy. I think it was last Friday's episode where we said, whoa, this episode feels chaotic.
Yeah.
And then now that feels like that a week ago feels like calm,
Peacetime.
Cool, yeah, peacetime. Cool, calm.
I don't even remember what we talked about last Friday.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't as intense as this Friday is. This is just insane. I feel like every day, like I said, it's really crazy to me that we record 3 days a week and there's not even like the slightest bit of shortage of complete headline news.
Yeah, week after week, the news either gets scarier or more intense.
Yeah.
And we're here to cover it.
Because we also like throw in, like a meteor, or we throw in like a devastating hurricane, or like, you know what I mean? On top of all the other shit. Like we sprinkle. There's
Has
like a side of
the world
hurricane.
always been this scary, or we're just hip to it because of social media and access to information?
I think that's partly true, but I also think things are really just tense right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about it. I mean, here we are. Once again, no shortage of content. What do you want to start with? I mean, okay, so let me say this. What's the gentleman's name? Blake.
Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake. So the Jacob Blake shooting has sparked, all of this protest, all of this outrage again. The crazy thing is, we talked about it, but this guy lived. So we're going to hear his side. We've never had that before. We're also going to hear what he thinks about like the protesting and we've never had any of that. Everyone's families always came out and said he wouldn't want you to burn down the city. We'll see if he wants you to burn down the city. Maybe he does.
I saw a tweet from a guy that said, a black guy on Twitter. He goes, "If I'm ever killed by the police, burn this shit down."
Yeah. I mean, I hate to be arrogant here, but I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, your point is good because like I am dying to hear what he has to say because effectively we've, if people thought we had made any progress from the George Floyd situation, which now feels like a lifetime ago.
Yep.
Now this is, we are more farther apart on a topic than we've ever been.
Yep.
And it's no coincidence that it's coinciding with the Republican National Convention.
Yep.
And if you peek into any of the highlights, they dismiss all of this.
Yep.
It's a lot of race baiting, a lot of law and order. The minorities are going to ruin your communities.
Yep.
They're burning your streets down.
Well, and now we saw, this is the first time this has happened. Now we saw exactly that, the response that fires up, which is now the new cool thing is for these freaking white AR owning militias to band together on Facebook and fucking go protect the city. Yeah. And the thing that kills me is this young man or little bitch that shot people isn't even from that town.
No.
So you little virgin, you fucking hopped on Facebook with your other racists, collected your ARs, and fucking drove to this city to go try to hold it down. Because that's what President Trump would want you to do. And he shot people. He killed 2 people.
And this kid's from Illinois. He's 17 years old. And let's assume you're a complete idiot and you're like, he has the right to defend his city. First of all, that wasn't his city. Second of all, you have to be 18 years old in Wisconsin to be carrying. So you're breaking the law from the get-go because Tucker Carlson...
Isn't that their whole thing? Isn't that the Republicans' whole thing? Should have broke the law.
Right.
That's the thing. You got to stick to it.
And Tucker Carlson went on Fox News to say, this is what it's come to. A 17-year-old kid has to defend our country because we're not able to.
Yeah.
I mean, that is how he has portrayed it to suburban white America who's watching Fox News and being scared that like your city is going to get burned down. And, you know, we're looking at what the last 24 hours has been insane. I think it really started with, it's crazy. The COVID situation really got taken seriously when the NBA canceled.
Yep. And Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, same day.
I just got to give credit where credit's due.
And then, NBA players have been outspoken throughout this whole process. The NBA is the first league to really get its shit back together. They were having let's put aside ratings for a second, but they were having a successful experience in the bubble where players were being tested, people were healthy, no positive tests. And then this incident happened and the Bucks walk off the court, or they never even walk on the court. And then
the Bucks are from Milwaukee, which is Wisconsin, for context.
Yes. And Orlando Magic were the team they were supposed to play in the playoffs. They leave the court, which causes like a domino effect that like enraged the Republican National Party because they spun it the way they want to spin it. What really the reality is these players were making a statement and everyone was trying to say, what does boycotting have to do with making a statement? The entire fucking world was talking about Jacob Blake. So it worked. Yeah, and that's where people don't understand. And because I saw a lot of people, like alt-right publishers and media people saying boycotting does nothing. But the whole point is now we know who has the power. The power in this situation was the players. The NBA went and just stopped everything. They're in the middle of the playoffs. This isn't like, like baseball also paused. NHL paused, WNBA paused, tennis paused.
MLS paused.
I didn't expect anyone from golf pausing. Tiger Woods is a bitch, so we're not expecting anything from him. But like everything else continued, to follow suit and everyone paused. NFL practices, like 10 were canceled today.
Yeah.
And so you see the power is in the players. And all you saw is a bunch of, what's interesting, I saw someone post this, how there were an account that said, I will not watch the NBA because players do not respect blah, 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 blah. It was a bot. It wasn't even real.
Yeah.
And then the guy searched it and he saw thousands on thousands of accounts posting it exactly verbatim.
Yeah.
So is this actually the sentiment of people, or this is what social media is getting people riled up to believe that no one cares about what the players have to say? Sure, that there's clearly some news outlets that benefit from chaos, and they're gonna say the players' opinions don't matter. But everywhere else I talk to on social media, and people who are sane are agreeing with the players on this matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for people to say that the NBA players aren't getting anything accomplished, well, if you just talk about tangible things, they got the NBA and the owners to put aside $300 million that will be reinvested in Black communities and Black causes and social justice causes. $300 million. So from just a pure monetary standpoint of what they were able to accomplish by even attempting to go down to the bubble, right there in of itself, you can't tell me that it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then 2 more points. One, unless you're a Black person, you shouldn't be telling how a Black person should feel responding to a Black incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have the authority. No one that isn't Black should be speaking on how they should react and respond to something that affects them
Only them.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, these everyday employees boycott work, quote unquote, for a lot dumber reasons. Let's be honest. So stop acting like you're on your high horse and you've never called a day off or boycotted work for something much stupider. It's like, but whatever. The point is, I don't even want to dwell on that too much because it did work. To Dee's point, everyone is saying, everyone is talking about what happened because you can't talk about this boycott without talking about why. So that did work. It is working. So of course people are going to be upset, but I think that's also part of it working. You know, like I think that if no one's upset, it doesn't work. Yeah,
and I think what the right conservative media is saying, oh, they wouldn't stand up to China. They played in China. Well, A, that was a preseason game. Yeah. And B, if that's not important to them enough to walk off, that's their choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who are you to tell anyone how they should react and respond when it directly affects their own pocketbooks?
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the real challenge is the last 24 hours got me extremely annoyed at social media and just media in general because there is absolutely no chance of unity in this country in the near term.
No.
Absolutely zero. The election is going to be so divisive no matter who wins. If Joe Biden wins, those other people are going to be pissed off. If Trump wins, we're going to be pissed off. And there is, I started kind of like visualizing in my mind. I'm like, in what world does everything not get politicized? So in this Trumpian kind of world, it is what it is. Like it's none of that Trumpism is going away anytime soon. The amount of arguments I have with people in my DMs about how Black Lives Matter is a Marxist, like leftist cult that's manipulating people, that it's not real. There's what are they talking about? There's Black people in MAGA hats that are dying that nobody cares about. And what people don't understand, unfortunately, is like, until you're in the rooms with power, those people are being manipulated. Those of you who do not believe in the Black Lives Matter movement or believe that people should be treated fairly or are being manipulated. You just aren't smart enough to figure that out. Yeah. And there are left agendas where the left people are getting manipulated. 100%. I agree. Politicians and media manipulate people. That is what helps them stay in power. But this, you have to set aside your political beliefs, your religious beliefs, and just look at it as a human issue that this group of people is not treated fairly. And unfortunately, it's so political that, there are people on the right that hate LeBron. They hate what he stands for. They hate that he has an opinion. They hate that he has so much fucking power that he could turn off a $100 billion league.
Yeah.
They hate that. But that's
totally.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump is that figure too for the right. And I won't accept Donald Trump. I never will. I don't accept him for anything he stands for. And I don't accept anyone who follows him because I don't think they understand what they're following. He's manipulating people. He's not doing it because he's a patriot. If that dude had served two terms in war and was this American hero, then I'd be like, you know what? That guy fought for the country. He has a different view of patriotism. Yeah. He evaded the war. He never paid taxes. He married a foreigner. He does not give a shit about America. Mm-hmm. That is the problem with our country, is that they've been fooled by this charlatan. Yeah. And those people that are following him are just hurting the unity of this country. Here's the real facts. Demographics do not play well into the Republican Party. They may get this election. I don't think they ever get another one if they don't change their tune. The country is getting darker. It's getting browner. It's getting blacker. It's getting more mixed race. And the youth view the world differently. They just do. They don't view it like even the way we grew up.
Yep.
Yeah. Just look at some topics. We are considered conservative on some topics. They view it so different and so open. And there's a party that won't even recognize people. Like literally groups of people are not recognized by the Republican Party. That's not good for business. And unfortunately, that hurts all of us. I don't even want to be on social media right now. It sucks.
I told you, man, put down Instagram for a while. Buy another phone.
Instagram's safe. Twitter's the problem.
Yeah,
Twitter's the problem.
Twitter. I don't.
Because I really enjoy getting information, and every single tweet fucking irritates me from everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, set it down, man. Go back to swim lessons.
Yeah, get that back.
I did. I'm in my trunks right now.
Yeah, you got to just relax, man. Take a nap. Go swim.
Yeah, I mean, to what you were saying and what we talked about on the last podcast is that the Republican thinking is so short term because the demographics have shifted, like Dee said. Mm-hmm. It's not debatable anymore.
Yep.
This is a left-leaning country by the majority.
Yep.
Whether the Republicans are just better tacticians in gerrymandering and winning elections, that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
But longer term, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
If you keep playing this game. Your only game is fear. Minorities suck. Minorities are ruining your communities, and we're gonna keep you safe. That only will last. Like, you have a very short window. So I know Donald Trump has hijacked the Republican Party, but I don't get how there aren't other Republican thinkers like, yo, dude, we have to rein this in. Yeah. Let them lose, and let's figure out how to get 2024.
I think there's a growing list of very public Republican figures that have said we're not supporting Donald Trump. And these are big figures in the party. That list, I think, will grow and people will get more confidence closer to the election. The problem is Donald Trump keeps polling a little bit better every single week.
Yep.
So
the stuff is all great for him.
If there's a shot that he can win, why would you go against him? Because that could hurt your career. That could hurt your pocketbook. And I think, as much as we all believe that this should be a landslide, you just never know who's going to come and vote. It's such a crapshoot.
Especially during a pandemic. Who's going to actually get their ballots in early? Who's actually going to be willing to show up to polls? I know everyone criticized the polling from 2016, but if you actually look at the national poll, they got it right within the margin of error.
Yep.
Even in the state polls, it was within the margin of error. They were wrong, but it was within the margin of error.
Yep.
In 2020, I don't know how you can predict voter turnout during a pandemic.
No.
I have
no idea. I can't even begin to guess.
So all the polls were saying we're getting a sentiment, I think, but who actually is going to show up and vote?
Because also if you get like a fall flare up, of the virus, it's a whole different story.
Yep. And the other issue I have is the bot issue on Twitter is so real. And Jack Dorsey goes on these press tours pretending to be this guy that's going to save the world. He's so full of shit.
Yeah.
At least Zuck just says, fuck off.
Yeah.
Facebook's Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He just did something on The Daily, the New York Times podcast, and he almost seemed annoyed now. Now he's annoyed at the questions. And but that's only a small fraction of what Twitter is. If you saw the overall numbers, Twitter is so much more. It's like, shut up, dude. That part of Twitter isn't deciding who our next president is.
Right. And just own it. Just say, guess what, guys? I'm not removing the bots. It's good for business.
Yeah.
That at least Zuck's like, I'm not removing misinformation. It's good for business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem is like it is such an easy problem to fix. Verify. And I put it on Twitter. I said, verify every single user. Everyone who shows like proof of identification gets a blue check mark. Give everyone a blue check mark. And then we know if something goes viral and it's not from a blue check mark, it's fake. It is fake. The problem is like, I see so many people arguing with me about these topics, and they're pointing to data like, oh, you didn't even read the whole story. You don't even read this. You didn't read the whole thing. The thing about it is like, so they're saying Jacob Blake had a knife in his van. Being objective, that knife better be a machete.
That shoots bullets.
Yes, because if it's like a switchblade off like a keychain,
yeah.
What's the excuse then? Because unless he's like a swashbuckler pirate and that has one of those swords in his van, there's no reason to see what we just saw. And I don't care. Like, and they're literally saying Megyn Kelly, he was armed with a knife. Did you see a knife come out in that video? I didn't see a knife.
And there's 3 of you, and you had the time to slowly follow him around to the driver's door, let him open the door and reach in. Like, it's just training. It's such poor training, and it's these clown cops that don't. I'm not saying all cops are clowns, but God damn it, it's just like, okay, so there's more and more and more and more, and these scared little bitch cops. What, you're scared of a black dude? There's 3 of you, and because this guy's black, you think, oh my God, kill him if he moves, because he has superpowers that he's going to beat all of our asses. Then you shouldn't be a cop.
Yeah,
you fucking dork.
How many? I'd love to know, because I don't know the statistic. Maybe someone who listens can share. How many times has a black person, while getting arrested, killed a cop? How many times does that happen?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's good data to find. And
Candace Owens,
and before we leave,
rifle that off.
Before we leave the NBA topic, Sterling Brown, who's a Milwaukee Bucks player, footage came out. He was harassed by a bunch of cops. They called all this back up in the parking lot of a Walgreens because he straddled 2 handicapped parking spots, and they called in the whole force. And the department had to reprimand the officers because, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dabo Cephalosa, he, I believe, played for the Atlanta Hawks at the time in 2015, was leaving a One Oak nightclub in New York City where we've all been. Yeah. You know what I'm not afraid of when I'm leaving One Oak? Getting my tibula broken by a bunch of cops.
Yeah. What's your tibula? Your neck? Where's that at?
Somewhere over here.
Oh, yeah. Your tibula and fibula. Got it.
And
Jesus.
He missed the playoffs because of it.
Yeah.
And the city had to pay him $4 million. So this is a problem that is not only affecting black people, it's affecting black NBA players. So if they don't want to fucking play, they don't have to play.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah. Fuck off. But now they're back, or what's happening?
So there was a meeting that was held Wednesday night with players only, and there was rumor that the Lakers and Clippers were not interested in continuing the season.
Yep.
And it said that LeBron had walked out of the room. The next morning, there was a team ownership meeting, and then there was a player meeting. Apparently, in those 2 meetings, they have decided to continue playing. I think everyone agrees not playing is not good. 1, for business, and 2, for their platform. Because if we don't see an NBA final, that's tens of millions of people that are not paying attention to what's happening right now. So I think not playing, I think the boycott was great, or the strike, whatever you want to call it. I think it served its purpose, but playing gives you so much more power. They are also in the midst of potentially voiding their collective bargaining agreement if they do not play, which would make their lives miserable from the owners if they don't play. So, I mean, business decision, social decision. I mean, I don't think anyone disagrees that playing is the right move. Like, You should.
Yeah,
be
I
playing.
think and it sounds like Andre Iguodala and Chris Paul were the two biggest voices in the room that led the discussion and got everyone back unified, at least for the majority, to continue playing. And to Dee's point about the collective bargaining agreement, if that gets voided, you don't expect an NBA season for a long time because there's no way with all the revenue being lost that the players and owners would be able to come to any sort of agreement on how to move forward because it'll just be a standstill.
Got it. Okay, well, so it looks like we're back on. But, I mean, they made their point.
Yes.
And it worked.
Yes.
Agreed. Okay. Complete and total topic jump. Salesforce. Great company. Big company. A lot of people say record-breaking company.
Record-breaking.
So they announced record-breaking profits. So things are good over at Salesforce, right?
Yes.
Corona-proof. We're all good. But then the following day, they laid off a shit ton of people.
So I'm going to retract a statement I said months ago. I thought Mark Benioff was my hero.
A great guy. Yeah,
I thought he was a great guy.
Yep.
I always had thought very, very highly of Mark Benioff. He's kind of a piece of shit.
I mean, what happened? Like
he laid off 1,000 people after the day after they got included in the Dow Jones, had a record earnings, 26% pop in the stock, and I'm going to hack 1,000 people.
And Mark Benioff, for people who don't know, is probably on the woker of wokest CEOs and founders.
Oh, he's woke?
He's woke as hell.
Oh,
he's full woke. He's not MAGA. He is screams from the mountaintop how Facebook is evil and this and that. He said, let's all tech companies, because we have the resources, make the pledge that we're not laying off people during the pandemic. This was fucking March.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
Yes.
So what does he do? I mean, come on. How does this happen? He's a smart guy.
USC's finest.
The next day,
he's a Trojan.
You don't, of course he's a fucking Trojan. You don't say, we're going to wait a couple months and quietly sort of let people go? You're going to announce incredible news and the next day chop heads?
And the stock was up 10% yesterday by market cap. What is that? I don't even know what Salesforce's market cap is. It's like tens of billions.
Billion.
Yeah, so
25 billion.
25 billion in market cap gains. And you laid 1,000 people off.
This is such a...
Read the room, Mark.
I mean, read the fucking room.
I mean, read anything. Literally read anything, Mark.
Just
you don't even need to read the room. There's not one good thing from this situation.
God. Okay. Well, whatever. Worth mentioning. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, too, well, I guess, sorry, while we're talking about the...
I can't believe this.
What do you got?
He tweeted in March using the Hawaiian word for family, ohana. Salesforce is pledging to its workforce, ohana, not to conduct any significant layoffs over the next 90 days. We encourage our ohana to pay their own personal hourly workers like housekeepers and dog walkers.
Well, Mark, just go back to watching Moana and leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah, shut the
Do you know
fuck up.
how expensive is that damn building he built in San Francisco?
I mean, I get it, man.
building.
Here's the other thing. I get, you got to do what you got to do. I'm sure there was a smart thing about it. But, what the fuck are you doing being woke, dude, posting all this, having these record numbers, and the next day doing this? That's the part I don't get.
Yeah, you have to pick your lane, because then if March, you want to talk ohana.
Yeah, where's your fucking ohana now, dude?
You're on the unemployment
There's
line.
10,000 ohanas out trying to get unemployment.
He could have easily just put those 1,000 people in another division and no one would have given a shit and say, hey, keep these people employed for 1 year and then can them all. And
slowly let people go. Why don't you just slowly over the next
Just wait a year.
Yeah.
Wait a year until all this settles down.
Okay, let's assume the average employee is $250,000 a year. Okay?
It's probably less, because there's a lot of just... those are
Salesforce, they're probably...
It's probably high. It's probably 100K.
What's the going rate for ohana around here?
I mean, you're talking, what is that, $10 million?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Just chill.
Yeah, who cares?
$20 million? $20 million? Let's say with all the costs. I mean, who cares? It's nothing.
just do the Google. Do you know how many useless people are at Google?
Yeah.
They just let them collect their 250, 300K all day without doing work.
Yeah.
Because your stock just goes up. So what the fuck do they care?
Yeah, that's so weird. So weird. Okay.
Ohana,
man. I guess, Ohana only lasted 3 months. Time's up. Okay, and then when we were talking about all-out madness in the country, we're also dealing with a hurricane down in Texas and Louisiana. Looks like they got hit pretty hard last night. 4 people are dead, and there's obviously insane damage. Right before I went to sleep, not the best of ideas, but I sort of checked in on the live stream. It looked insane. Buildings were just getting ripped to shreds, and you have like weather reporters in helmets, like, all right, this is coming in to the west, like just like absolute madness, and it's still going. So
it was the media does a great job of scaring people. The headline I saw is unsurvivable.
For all but 4 people. I'm not saying that's not tragic. It's 4 people, but it doesn't seem unsurvivable.
Yeah, it goes back to these situations where it's obviously easy for us to say leave, and I obviously would say that normally. But I look at these communities and these Louisiana and Texas. I think they said the average income is like below 22,000. A lot of these people are below the poverty line. It's impossible for them to leave. They can't afford to do it, especially if you have a family. It's a pretty screwed situation. We don't know. I think the only benefit is that it doesn't seem to be hitting like densely populated parts of the country, which would be very damaging.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are deaths. And I don't know if, I saw in one case a tree fell and killed a girl in her own house. So, it's a pretty scary situation. If you look at the country right now, you got what's going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is clearly spreading all over the country in terms of protest. You have fires in California. You have the hurricane happening in the South. You have like complete civil unrest in most of the country. It's like it's in August.
Yeah.
We have an election in 60 days. It is.
Wait till that, man. I feel like this election is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Like, I feel like these guys with their AR-15s are showing up, like, protesting if Trump loses. Like,
Donald Trump has said he's not sure if he's going to accept the results of the election if he loses. He'll only accept it if he wins. Think about that. That's how we're leading into November.
Yeah.
So he's going to convince, 60 million people that the election was rigged?
Yeah, they're going to fucking believe every word of it. That's the problem.
He's already convinced them. The way people talk to me who are conservative about the election, it's insane. It's like
they're insanity. In the rigged crowd. They already believe it's rigged.
It's rigged because they know he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose, and they're not gonna accept it.
It's the mail system.
So I'm actually like, how does the country burn further? Tied up in courts and a president that's, I know if he lost clearly and it's not in courts, he's going to be removed by the inauguration. All this like, he's not leaving. Mm-hmm. But what's the scenario if the courts haven't decided whether he won or lost? And we're in mid-January, post-inauguration date. What happens? We have no contingency plan.
I don't know.
I think at that point, there are some like actual patriots in politics that do it because they got into it. Forget they might be pieces of shit now. They got into it for the right reason and will hopefully kind of step in and act like adults. I actually have faith in the Supreme Court. given some of their decisions recently, the problem is it's his Supreme Court.
Yeah, the beer man's not going against him.
The beer man's not going to go.
He's got beer man no matter what.
Clarence Thomas isn't going against him.
Clarence
It's
Thomas
the last judge he appointed has been going against him the last 2 or 3 rulings.
Is it Dave Roberts or?
Yeah, Dave Roberts is the Dodgers general manager or manager. So yeah, it is Roberts.
Something Roberts.
And Trump has just been attacking him every time that decision comes out. Like, I can't believe I supported this guy because he doesn't vote with them.
Oh my God.
John Roberts.
Yeah, I just cannot guess as a whole because I really think there's going to be people protesting to get him out. There's going to be people either way. Even if he gets reelected, it's going to be absolute insanity. Either way, it's madness.
Yeah.
And all these I just think that when you start to get to the point of the white dudes with the ARs showing up and shooting protesters, you now cross a new line. Like, we are now at a new place.
So I think that's actually what could tank the stock market, is an undecided election mid-December. Like, we're going into Christmas and we still don't know who the president is.
It has to be a long period of time. If it was like 2-3 weeks.
I don't think Tesla cares.
I honestly don't think the stock market cares personally, because the economy should be fine. I mean, clearly, if the election happened today, Joe Biden would win, right? So the market is already assuming a Joe Biden victory. And they know, if you look historically, Joe Biden winning does not impact the stock market in a negative way. It's good for the stock market. It'll be fine. It's just macro issues that, we'll all have to see how it plays out. But I don't think at this point anything. Jerome Powell, the Fed, came out today. I didn't understand a word he fucking said, but he pretty much said the party continues.
Yeah, he's a money printer. Yeah. That's part of his MO.
He should go work for Canon and Xerox.
Yes.
Print it up.
Kinko's.
Okay. And then what about, speaking of protests, did you guys see, what about this story of Tiana Arata?
I've been reading it.
Young protester from San Luis Obispo. Is she from San Luis Obispo, or the protest was in San Luis Obispo? Yeah,
she's I think originally from Oregon, but lives in San Luis Obispo. Moved down there with her mother when she was in high school, it looks like. And I got turned on to this story by my friends PJ and Kit, who listen to the pod, who are trying to actually help this woman because this seems to be a problem. I've been reading about these types of stories all over the country. So during the peak of the Black Lives Matter protest, a bunch of protesters were arrested. And in some of these small towns like San Luis Obispo, they just came in. They have her with 5 counts of felonies, 4 counts of this. And she, for the most part, was just a peaceful protester. There were things that happened, and they just don't know who did what, and they're just throwing it on people. And if you don't have a high-powered attorney, you're fucked. Luckily, the same person that's representing Ahmaud Arbery's family came in on this case and is now helping this woman and pretty much put pressure on San Luis Obispo and said, if you guys don't play ball, we're coming for you, and we're gonna make your life a living hell. Because San Luis Obispo is not like LA County where they have the resources to fight this. Yeah. They're gonna go bring 10 high-powered ACLU attorneys and drown this city out of all their funds trying to fight for this protester that potentially did no harm. And the rumors got that she would get 15 years of prison. Doesn't sound like she would get any real prison time. Even if she got convicted, it would be some sort of jail time. But she shouldn't be charged with anything. I don't even understand what she did.
It's just the fall guy mentality. Yeah. I really, if you had to guess, how many fall guy convictions are there that are currently in prison? They didn't really know what happened, but the community wanted answers, like Central Park 5 type. Yeah. Someone died in Central Park. We have to put the 5 black kids in jail to show New York City we're tough on crime.
Yeah. Well, I would say if you take it all the way down to what I think the lowest form is, which is cops that just want to close a case.
Yes.
It's probably a shit ton. It's probably a lot.
Just shoddy work. Let's take someone down. Yeah. We look like...
Wrap it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scary. And obviously, the people that get affected the most are underprivileged communities that don't have the resources to actually put up a proper defense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see how this one plays out, because this does feel just like absolute insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy, and really interested to see these types of situations all over the country. Like the amount of people defending that 17-year-old schmuck for...
Oh, there's a lot.
It's insane. Insane amount of people that are defending that kid. And, you know, I don't know if you saw the guy that actually like took him out so that he fell to the ground, but he died. That kid, Anthony Huber, I think his name was. He was like a skateboarder kid that like took out Kyle, which I think got him arrested. I mean, that kid died.
Yeah.
Fucking dead.
Yeah.
Because this schmuck has a AR-15.
And that's my problem is so there's also stories, and I haven't watched these videos or anything, but there's stories that people were like throwing things at him and whatever. And that's how people are justifying it in their crazy minds. So the couple things that just blow my mind are, number one, if you have the sentiment about these black people getting shot by cops that don't break the law and these problems won't happen, you have to keep that across the board. And a 17-year-old standing around with an AR-15 is breaking the law. So that's point number one. Number two is, I'm not saying that if anyone was throwing shit at him, taunting him, that wouldn't cause him to act some sort of way. But the point that I think everyone misses when they just want to take their fucked up side is, why is a 17-year-old grabbing an AR-15 and driving to a different city where he's not from and standing around a bunch of people that are hurt, rightfully so, and on edge, and just begging for something to happen?
Yeah.
And then, oh, well, yeah, but they threw something at him. Of fucking course they did. Look at these guys.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man? Like, you see a problem and you just want to put your stupid little nose in it and say, we're going to go stand around and make sure. Like, what are you doing?
But the problem with your original point of saying, if you're breaking the law, you get shot by the police. If that's your tagline, then it applies to white people too. The problem is their leader, Donald Trump, says the rules don't apply to him. So why would the rules apply to the 17-year-old kid? Election counts if I win. I don't win, election doesn't count.
Yeah.
This is the president of the United States saying it. Their fearless leader is saying the rules apply when we want them to. The rules do not apply when we do not want them to.
Yeah. Plus law and order. I mean, that kid probably thought he was Mr. Law and Order that night.
Yeah.
There's video of cops pulling up and giving him water and saying, we really appreciate what you guys do. That kid probably was on cloud 9 until he realized that gun shoots.
And he's done. The kid's done. He killed 2 people. He's not going to be released. He's going to jail for the rest of his life.
I'd be scared to death, though, of some sort of self-defense thing. I mean, I don't know.
But he shouldn't have had he's going to get a gun charge.
True.
You got to give him the gun charge. I don't know if it's what the crime is in Wisconsin for a 17-year-old to be walking around an AR-15. What do you get, like a medal, or do you go to jail?
Well, it depends. Plus, let me just add one more note to all the racist idiots that think you're in a militia. Number one, go home and just play Call of Duty and just stick to that. You know, like, you don't need to fucking form a militia. But when you see a 17-year-old show up, tell him to go home.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, just be
responsible
an adult
militia.
somewhere. Even if you're like, hey, the age of entry for full-blown gun-toting racism is 18. You got to go home, little dude, because that guy's just going to cause a problem for the whole thing, right? If you think that you're there as a responsible gun owner and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to make sure no one gets crazy, send the 17-year-old home. Take his bullets out and be like, just walk around with that and just feel like a big bad dude.
Good luck.
Fucking idiot. It's so dumb, man.
I can't believe you said the cops were like thanking these guys.
Oh, they gave him water and said, thank you, we really appreciate it. Seriously. Over their loudspeaker.
That, and there's like, it's all in video as well.
What's your family in Wisconsin from people, friends in the streets saying it's crazy?
Yeah.
Are any of your friends in a militia?
No.
But is it crazy all across Wisconsin or just isolated to what we're seeing in these cities?
Ask that question
like
again?
Is in Madison, are people protesting?
Yeah, people in Madison are protesting. They also were protesting throughout the whole the last Black Lives Matter protest as well. But there also was like crazy shit that happened, again, of people coming across the border and causing a lot of the destruction. There was guys who were running people over in the protests that were happening in Madison as well as Milwaukee. So like, this stuff is taking place. It just went to a whole new level this time.
Right.
So I don't know. It's crazy. There's like, I know my old roommate like now lives near Kenosha, and like his dad's in the police force there and everything. So he's like been weirdly like updating us, but just like in a random group chat I'm in, but it's weird.
Okay. Well, we'll see. And then last thing before our ad break, one thing that Donald Trump knows or is supposed to know, the one thing, there's only one thing, is ratings.
Yep.
Looks like he's losing that too, because ratings aren't so good on this racist fest called the RNC. What's going on?
The ratings are bad.
Maybe they should ask LeBron to show up.
Yeah, I mean, last night's viewing was only 15 million viewers. The first night, opening night, was only 17 compared to 23 the previous convention. Democratic convention last week got in like 21 million viewers on the third night. So 21 to 15. I know a lot of MAGA isn't good at math, but 21 minus 15, 6 million people more watched the Democratic convention.
I will say, though, still scary that 15 million people are still watching that fuck fest. That thing, it looks crazy, man. It looks like the opening scene.
The frightening part for Mr. Trump himself is that typically in conventions, the presidential candidate doesn't speak till the last day, and that is the big day for ratings. He's been speaking every day. Yeah. So their leader in the party is speaking every day, and they can't draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, though, man. The little clips I've seen are like crazy.
It's a different world. There's actually two different countries that are coexist here now.
There is. I mean, what are the chances we just split off?
I don't think that's happening, but
I mean, is there any?
I mean, we're heading towards that. I mean,
I think we're just heading towards more civil unrest, more AR-15, not in my city.
But who can reel that in? How do you stop that?
I don't. That's why, like, back.
That's the problem. Is I think the real solution is like, okay, if you believe in X, you have to live in these states. If you don't believe in this, you live in these states. Yeah. You know, like each one gets a couple coastal states. Like we'll keep California, they can have Florida. Like it's got to be like a draft. Like there's 50 states up for grab. We'll take what we want. You guys take what you want, and then we say goodbye to each other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down for it. But because it just feels like I don't see where it comes back together. And maybe this is just how it looks when you're on this side of the rubber band. But like, how does anyone reel this back in?
I don't think it can be reeled back in because of the rapidly rising inequality. Because there's two issues going on. There's a race issue, but the underlying anger is also a bunch of people that know they have no shot to even be middle class.
Yeah, to be honest, this may sound crazy. I don't think the race issue is as big if you take into consideration the inequality issue. Yes. Does that make sense?
I agree. I think we've definitely said that before, that the protests were, and the underlying protests of the diversity, it was inequality based, not predominantly race based.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people don't realize that. You know, like I think if you're in the low income area and you're black and you suffer from racism on top of all of that, I think you just feel it the absolute hardest. But I think there's so much. Okay, whatever. I have no idea, but I don't understand the way this is going. Some major change has to happen, and I don't see like an Obama type character coming in and saying hope and like we're all good.
No, it's destruction, law and order. Republicans, don't worry about us making trillions of dollars in the stock market. Immigrants and minorities are ruining your life.
Yeah. Okay. And with that being said, let's take us to some ads. Pete, what do we got? White boy.
That was good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ad Portion of this podcast. This is your boy Pete here, and what's really cool is I get to come every single episode and give you guys some amazing deals. Now, you probably listen either to a handful of podcasts or possibly a bunch of YouTube videos, and everybody just throws ads at you all day. But this is the one time you get to sit down and you don't actually skip through the ads. Why? Because it's me, one, talking to you, and two, the amazing deals that I bring you now. You've heard about me talk about the Menlo Club. For $45, if you head over to themenlohouse.com and sign up for the Menlo Club, you get your first subscription month for $45, plus the Bowery sneaker from New Republic, the lightweight canvas sneaker, the shoe of the summer. Some say, many say, a lot of people say the shoe of the summer. So if you want to get that amazing deal, that's still available. But there are some things that are quietly being talked about more and more every day here. We have big news coming for the Menlo Club next week. If you've already seen it out on social, if you know what I'm talking about, there's some big things happening next week, so stay tuned. I'm talking with them to bring you guys a really great deal. So for now, take advantage of that first month, but next week we're going to have even bigger deals that I can't spill yet, but it's going to happen, and you people will be the first ones to find out. So stay tuned for that. And as I said last time, hasslecattlecompany.com. The link was wrong the first time, so we have to make sure we correct that. Just head over to hasslecattlecompany.com. Get 20% off your order with the code GROUPCHAT. That's 20% off with the code GROUPCHAT. Get amazing blue-collar Wagyu beef. I've had it. It's absolutely delicious. I had the steaks. I had the bacon. I had the ground... No. Would it be the ground beef? Yeah. I had the ground beef. It's all delicious. I had tacos. I had steaks. I had brats. I had it all. It's amazing at an incredible cost. So live like a king while also getting a great deal on it. Don't miss out on that. The code is only live for 10 days. I think we only have 6 or 7 days left. So if you've been waiting to act, now is the time. Don't wait. The deal's going to go away. And then next week, we're going to bring you even bigger. Maybe even the biggest deals of all time. Okay, that's it. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. I'm only going to continue to bring you the biggest and best values from brands all over the world. So always stay tuned. Never skip me. Otherwise, you're going to really miss out. Okay, that's it. We got to get back into the episode. Goodbye.
All right, and we're back. Let's talk about disguising products. No, disguising tracking devices as products.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Facebook's done it extremely well. Amazon, we talk about Google Home, Amazon Alexa. And at the end of, I don't think people totally realize at the end of all of this, what they're really doing is collecting data.
Yep.
That's what the real business is. Amazon is diving headfirst into a new category that I think falls right in line with that same thing, which is Halo. And Halo is a fitness band. I've been wearing mine. I don't have it on today, my Whoop strap, but it's like that. It's one of those fitness trackers that comes with an app that tracks all your sleep and everything that all these things do. There's only one catch that's interesting. It also scans your body for body fat. So what do? You set your phone down, you get naked and pose in front of it and do the old Bezos dick pic move? He got mad his dick pics got collected, so he's trying to collect all of the users? What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're not only going to track everything you do, they're going to get a nice, full, naked body pic of you.
I think the funniest part is, so they're going to see everyone's body fat, and let's say someone has a super high body fat percentage. You think they then start serving them ads of Oreos and Cheetos? We know where to get this guy.
I wonder.
Yeah. That was always this rumor, and maybe it is real, and I didn't believe it. But do you remember when grocery stores started the loyalty programs like the Ralph's Club or the Rite Aid card? And it tracked every single one of your purchases. And the rumor was that insurance companies bought that data to track, to know if you're truly a healthy person or not. If you're buying cigarettes, you're buying unhealthy foods. I never thought that was real, but that was 15 years ago. I didn't think people were doing those types of things. Today, so Amazon is effectively entering the Fitbit Woot, Aura Ring, they're just like, screw it, we're going to go after the space. The biggest difference is their band has no screen. And I think they want to, it's everything from tracking sleeping, your heart rates. They want to be in the healthcare space. And
it also has, I just want to point out, microphones, but says they don't connect to Alexa.
Yeah, they bought PillPack 3 or 4 years ago, which is on-demand prescriptions. Yeah. So they clearly want to be in a healthcare space. But what I don't understand is the tens of billions, is it hundreds of billions that's going into digital fitness? Aren't we unhealthier than ever as a country?
Yeah.
So is this all aspirational? Everyone aspires to be healthy, investing, using their money to buy all these products, but there's no results?
Yeah. Well, no, here it goes back to inequality. I bet you if you took the health of the top 10% earners in the country and their health from 20 years ago, I bet you those people are healthier.
Right.
Right?
I also think that you can be unhealthy and like track your steps and it doesn't really matter. But you can be like, oh, I got my steps in today. And it's like, yeah, but what did you eat? Like, I still think a lot of unhealthy people love these fitness trackers.
I got my steps to McDonald's and back.
Absolutely. I really think that's what like a lot of these Fitbit wearers and I really think there's a lot of that happening.
Yeah, I think there's an awareness. They're like, yeah, I ate a lot and I walked a lot and I still look the same, but at least I got to track it.
Totally. I think you can really, I think if you use these things properly, it's a small piece of the overall picture that you're using, but I think for a lot of people, it's the picture and it's like
10,000 steps, 4 Big Macs.
I'm healthy.
Let's do it.
I'm a healthy person. I got the alert, 10,000, healthy guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's days where I would walk like 15,000 steps and then I'd weigh myself the next day, but I ate like shit. I gained weight.
Yeah,
of course.
They walked around New York and ate pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's why I think the market is so big. That's all I can gather, because the market is obviously big. And of course, if I'm sure Amazon sees a ripe opportunity for tracking and data, but they obviously see the opportunity. You hear nonstop about the wearables, fitness thing. There's obviously massive opportunity. I'm trying to look at this thing. I mean, you really just sort of stand there in your tidy whities and scan your body.
Yeah.
This is weird. All right. Well,
I like it. I like it as a product. I think people want this type of stuff. People want to track their sleep. We saw the effectiveness that people used it for detecting COVID early. I mean, it's a very powerful technology that I think is going to be on everyone in some capacity in the near future.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. Bezos is like, if my dick pics leak, yours are too.
I got everyone's, man.
Yeah.
Who wants to
talk
shit?
Everybody's.
Go ahead, talk shit, Ted. Check this out. I will say the thing that I wear, probably the most useful has been tracking sleep, because it's just really interesting. Like you think, oh, I sleep definitely 8 hours a night. You actually sleep 650. Like you think blah blah blah. Like it's that's the
I believe that
part. Okay, and then what's going on with Facebook? So number one, I just wanted to point out, I don't know if we talked about Zuckerberg is just a fucking snitch. That story that came out, like he personally warned Donald Trump about the threats of TikTok.
Genius.
You little snitch, man.
I like he owns his personality.
He owns it. He is a fucking savage. Whoever was mean to him his whole childhood that made him like this, fuck you. You know what I mean? Because this guy, I feel like that character in the movie that's just the sort of bitter dork has never left him.
I think it's worse than the movie portrays.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more savage than the movie.
Absolutely. Think about it. He ran the Winklevi out of Silicon Valley. Every entrepreneur was afraid to take their money.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he tried to copy and then he tried to make a coin.
Yes.
I get the vibe that he is truly a frustrated guy. Like he just doesn't give a shit and just wants world domination.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because these guys don't run in the same circles. There's not an alliance. Like Tim Cook, Bezos, Zuck, the Google CEO, Sundar, like I don't think any of them are friends. They all just talk shit. If you listen to the congressional hearing, everyone was throwing the other one under the bus.
Yeah. It seems like they piled on Apple and then And then Zuck's around tattletaling on everyone else. Hey, excuse me, Donald. I don't know if you saw TikTok, but the amount of data that they have.
He's not wrong.
Little dork. And I know he's not wrong. And that's the problem. And so anyway, the reason why I brought it up is because he has now warned his advertisers. Apparently Apple made some privacy updates, some privacy changes, and Facebook is warning advertisers that may affect their performance. Is that right?
Yeah. So this is becoming a huge issue for Facebook and its advertisers. So like there was a privacy change in the California law that came out that affected like all of our websites where you have to opt in to get targeted. And obviously most people opt out. So that affects your performance. There's also issues that on this new iOS 14 update that kind of makes it very hard for Facebook to track using the iPhone. And that's how they sell such targeted ads. All the rumors of everything you hear, like, oh, they hear you. Oh, they do this. They do everything. Yes. That's why the ads work. The ads would not work if it wasn't so perfectly targeted. Mm-hmm. So Facebook is saying Apple's now blocking us from doing a lot of those naughty little things. And now we're expecting performance to fall. So if you're a big advertiser, I think being a digital advertiser, a big one, is going to be very, 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 very difficult in the near future. One, it's ultra competitive. Two, it's an election year, so it's just nonsense you're competing with. Three, everyone's clamping down on these privacy laws. It is going to be very hard this Q4 to be an effective advertiser. These changes in the privacy laws make it very hard to target people.
Yeah. And in 2020, brands are going to have to figure out to make products that people actually want, not that they're tricking you to buy.
Yeah.
What a concept.
I really feel like there's a chance. There's a chance this stuff just gets crazier and crazier, which is probably the most likely chance. But there's also a chance that we look back at this period in like internet marketing as a golden age of like lawless, like all the businesses and all these businesses that like scaled and exited off of growth marketing and growth hacking. And like once some of these regulations and privacy policies get put in place, if they ever do, like that window could just close. And it could go back to that, like actually building a good product and speaking to consumers and all the basics. But
then people might have to go back and get their MBA and learn how to market.
Shit, all those programs are closed. But don't you think like we could look back at this and be like, man, that was a weird phase where like, you could get rich if you knew how to manipulate the internet.
Yeah, and it's eventually going to happen because the big brands that now traditionally advertise, like the TV ad spend is still insane.
Yeah.
Those dollars are going to eventually move over to the internet. Yeah. And then when you have that volume of spend competing against small businesses, it's the same. It goes back to like back in the day. If you couldn't buy the commercials, no one knew who the fuck you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. I wonder what's going to happen with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just, the people that have actually built good brands, you'll survive and you'll have a hard time short term, but you'll figure it out. And it's really the people that either don't have the money to stomach the pain or the whole thing was a growth hack. And if it was, it's over.
Yeah. And the only ones that will be effective are, you almost have to have content that ties towards whatever you're selling. Yeah. You have to build that connection because if you don't, and you're just growth hacking, it eventually the game ends.
But doesn't it seem like everyone's growth hack? I mean, I feel like every up and coming entrepreneur that I talk to, their pitch is their unique way of growth hacking, not their unique.
You can growth hack to a sub $10 million business, but you'll go bankrupt if you try to go further. If that's your only hustle.
Yeah, unless you're armed with tens of millions of dollars of cash, which some of these brands are, so they can stomach. Look, most e-com businesses that you hear about don't make any money.
Yeah.
They're just kind of...
What I'm saying is I feel like almost like the purpose being building a great product and a great brand that uniquely speaks to people, it is sort of not as existent. Like the new mission is how do I growth hack better?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'll tell you from a Menlo Club perspective, we were such big spenders a few years ago. And I learned the hard way that this is not a sustainable way of growing a business. And in the month of August on Facebook, Menlo Club spent $0.
And
$0.
What did you spend 3 years ago?
7 figures.
$2 million.
In the month of
1.5
August.
million. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
Easily.
crazy.
The reason why people were doing that because it worked back in 2015 because it got you to an exit.
Totally.
Yeah.
Even though the numbers didn't make sense, but the numbers never actually made sense
Yeah.
over scale.
Yeah.
But companies were buying. Dollar Shave Club, bleeding cash, had $1 billion exit.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I totally
And
agree.
by the way, I mean, there's no way that business is doing well now.
No, I think there's a
No.
bunch of those, but I think it was those exits that led everyone to think that way. And then I feel like all the internet like gurus started preaching that, and all the classes and all the everything you saw was growth hack and how to buy Facebook ads and you know what I mean? And I don't feel like that's worn off. I don't feel like it has truly changed. The tide has changed to like great product, great brand, great connection with customer.
No, you know why? These kids have gotten, and they're not kids, but these people have gotten smarter, is let's just find items with bigger margin.
Yeah.
Like let's go find stuff with 90% margin. So if you have 90% margin, you could spend. You don't actually have to run that efficient of a business and you should be fine.
But that's how you know it's running out, right? And then you get a couple of these privacy concerns and it's like overnight. One Apple privacy policy change or one Facebook blah, 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 and the whole thing's wiped.
Yes.
That happened with game installs on Facebook.
Yeah.
They just raised the take rate and said, leave. And everyone left.
Really? That's what
Like Zynga was famous.
like Farmville and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Okay. By the way, it seems like Apple is just going through with this whole Fortnite thing.
Yeah.
They're just like, fuck you, right?
Apple's going to war with Facebook. Apple's going to war with Epic Games. Apple is just...
Yeah, that Tim Apple is...
I'm surprised that Tim Apple's getting all the heat.
Yeah, I know. He seemed like the last one who should have got it.
And he's also laughing because this company's worth $2.2 trillion.
the other thing is these guys are all going against each other now, right? So I think our next topic talks to this is Microsoft is partnering with Walmart to now buy TikTok. And people are saying,
that's insane.
And people are saying that's like a done deal. Like it's happening.
And that's why, because they want to take an e-commerce approach?
Well, if you look at these social media apps in China have actually figured out how to sell product and have fun and dance. No American company has done the two, like where there's true commerce integrated into it. Of course, there's advertising, but truly integrated commerce. There are several Chinese apps that do that really, really well. And so I think the approach is like Microsoft doesn't really have an e-commerce platform. I think Walmart into the picture helps it get approved because I feel like Walmart is most favored nation in terms of American government because of how many people it employs, American retailer, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So I think there's like this clear opportunity for them to partner on it. It is such a mega distraction to both companies, in my opinion. They're both, obviously Walmart stock popped today more than TikTok is worth. And when they reported earnings, which were blowout, that stock did nothing. It went down. Mm-hmm. So the TikTok people just drove the price up today for no reason.
How much because you always hear the story that the Chinese companies in China have figured out social commerce and they're all geniuses, which they are. But how much of that is they don't follow the same data privacy rules that companies in America are forced to? So do they just manipulate the data better? Is that why it's working? Why has no U.S. company been able to hack that puzzle?
So one of the things you do quickly learn is same problem with India. Most of these products are selling for way too cheap. There's free returns, free exchanges. So the overall number looks huge, but the underlying businesses are very, very bad. I remember when we looked at launching on Tmall or Taobao in China, you could return the goods anytime within 90 days or 6 months. Crazy rules that the Chinese internet consumer is okay with, thanks to Alibaba and JD and all these people. I don't think those businesses are profitable. They're just not. And so as long as I think it is a privacy data issue in terms of targeting, but the bigger thing is it's like the deals are so good. And I think, the government is subsidizing shipping probably. There's tax considerations. It's so much more complex over there. I don't think any of those businesses are actually doing any real, like Amazon makes money in America now. I don't think a true e-com player in China makes money.
Bezos is worth 200 million? 200 billion, I mean?
Yeah.
He hit the mark?
Yeah.
After a
talk
divorce,
about
after giving away 30% of his net worth, he's still worth $200 billion.
I mean, this country is wild, man. It's just so crazy. You have that story with the tech story that's going on with the inequalities. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like these guys are getting so rich. It's so nuts.
Rich. I have a funny story from one of my best friends. He's a senior exec at I'm not going to say any names, at a very well-known Silicon Valley company. Mm-hmm. For the last year and a half, Google has been sending him emails, a recruiter at Google, sending him emails for a very senior job at a VP level. Mm-hmm. He ignored all of them. And for a year and a half, they've been like hot to trot on him. And presumably it's a very high-paying job. Mm-hmm. He just ignored it. He had no interest in leaving where he was. He finally just like opens the last email. He's like, they just keep harassing. And he calls the recruiter like, why do you guys keep emailing me? And they thought he has the same name of the exec at Yelp. And they thought he was him. Because the position that they were asking him to be had nothing to do with his experience. Uh-huh. So that poor bastard at Yelp, his stock's down 27%. Google stock is up 38%. This recruiter has cost that guy millions of dollars.
Oh, my God.
Don't have a common Indian name. That's the problem.
Yeah, if you're up north, man, being really smart and running shit, you got to pick a unique name. Maybe be Fred.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Freddie Patel.
Yeah, be Fred Patel, man. You're the only one.
Yeah, you need a white name with the Indian name.
Yes. You could kill it.
But how crazy is that? This is Google.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay. All right, well, that's what we got. Let's do some winners, losers content.
Yeah.
Anand, who you got for winner of the week?
The stock market.
Yeah, why not, man?
No matter what happens, no matter what civil unrest is going on, no matter what the climate of the country is, the money printing machine will not stop, and stocks only go up.
Yep.
And El Presidente is making a couple $100,000 a day.
I love that post about finance guys do nothing.
Yeah, that was great.
Holy cow.
So
he said he needed a good hit post. He got one.
He got one. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. D, who you got?
Mine are the flurry of IPOs that are about to hit the market.
Who we got?
We have Airbnb coming.
Yeah.
We have the douchebags over at Palantir. We got Snowflake, some made-up company that loses more money than I've ever heard. Just a lot of made-up companies. I've never heard of them that lose hundreds of millions of dollars that are all going public. They're all going to be home runs. Warby Parker, which I had not heard of in years, raised a few $100 million at a $3 billion valuation today. Their business seems to be on fire, which I understand that. Like that whole industry is so retail driven still. They have the e-commerce know-how, so I'm sure they saw this huge boom. What's funny was at the beginning of COVID, I thought like, oh, this is going to be the shift of wealth to other parts of the country or other types of people that are going to react. It is going to make people in tech way richer. You can't even imagine when Airbnb goes public. So their highest valuation was $30 billion. Their last round was $17 billion. This thing People, when I said on Twitter, big commerce would be worth $10 billion, I got laughed at. It is worth $10 billion now. And it doesn't even do $1 billion in revenue. Nowhere close to $1 billion in revenue. Yeah. And Airbnb, which is a household name for the millennial Gen Z investor, is going to be worth $100 billion.
Easily.
I mean, there's a story here, right, where all these tech companies have such wild gains that the rest of the economy falls to pieces, but the overall stock market doesn't reflect it, right?
Yeah, that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
But I mean, can't that happen on such a catastrophic level where we are like at record crazy unemployment, just absolute insanity, but the actual stock market reflects
because
we're in a great spot.
Because the Dow and
I guess, yes, that is exactly what's happening right now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but the problem is the Dow and S&P are weighted averages.
Yeah.
So the weighted average is your trillion-dollar companies are moving the stock market forward. Yeah. If you really look at the underlying everyday American company, their stock is maybe flat to down. Most of them are down still on the year. It's really those like 10 companies that have gone up so much that have moved the needle the most. And I think these IPOs that are going to come out are going to be, because if you're known to your customer, like Big Commerce, nobody even knows what Big Commerce is. Yeah. Like we actually use Big Commerce for Menlo Club. We're building something on it, but like nobody knows what that is, and it's worth $10 billion.
Yeah.
Big Commerce was going to sponsor something for group chat.
I know, it sounds like they got the bag now.
We should go back.
I mean, they should just change the name to Big Bag.
Yeah, for real. If Fatburger can be Fat Brands, you guys can be Big Bag Incorporated.
Yes.
Okay. My winner is LeBron James. We already talked about it, but this fact that like through all of this, when you're talking about in the playoffs, the NBA, talking about boycotting, it sounded like LeBron James was like leading the charge, calling the shots, organizing the decisions. And for a player to have that level of power and control over the entire league is just insane.
Yeah.
So good job, King. You did it, man. Chosen one.
Ohio's own.
Ohio, thank you. It's something in the Akron water. Okay, what about losers? Anand, who you got?
Brian Urlacher. He is a former linebacker. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he will be if he's not, for the Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. The sad events in Wisconsin have him fired up. Mm-hmm. The social justice that the NBA is standing for got him feeling some type of way, so he wanted to make a statement.
Oh, boy.
Brian Urlacher. Brett Favre played the Monday Night Football game the day his dad died, threw 4 touchdowns in the first half, and was a legend for playing in the face of adversity.
Oh, we're going that route, huh?
NBA players boycott the playoffs because a dude reaching for a knife wanted on a felony sexual assault warrant was shot by the police.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
he's my
Brian.
loser.
That's a good loser. That's the epitome of a loser.
Yeah, this is why people are not naming their kids Brian anymore.
This is the two. These are the two Americas. This is not a minority opinion.
Yeah. Oh no, not at all. People are very openly and adamantly in support of him deserving to get shot, as well as young KKK member, 17-year-old guy toting around an AR and shooting people. There's a lot of support, which is crazy.
Crazy.
Dee, who's your loser?
My loser is the American citizens. I think that the division that I thought there was like this brief moment during the protest with George Floyd that I saw people recognize that were conservative that, hey, people in this country are not treated fairly. We need to do something about it.
Yep.
I feel that what happened in Wisconsin, now the black athlete speaking out has enraged conservative white America so much that there is absolutely no chance we're united on fucking anything. I think we are so far apart on every issue. Every issue is going to be politicized. I am, for content reasons, very excited to see what a vaccine does, but very sad for society when that day comes, when there is a vaccine for this virus. It's going to be politicized. It's going to be, not every topic is politicized. Human life should not be politicized. And the fact that we're politicizing it, it just shows that we're nowhere near. The election's going to be a disaster no matter who wins. And, I hope that our listeners can live in a city, a town, a neighborhood where you're accepted, and that you get to have somewhat of a normal everyday life. Because if you turn on the TV or social media, you're depressed. Like, I hate turning on the TV now on the news. Like, I don't watch the news to begin with, but if I even see a headline, it irritates me. I see those plastic surgery idiots at the RNC talking. It irritates me so much. And like I said, even going on Twitter is just like, it's not fun anymore. Yep. Like nothing's fun.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. That my loser is the same. It's just so obviously absolute insanity. And we're all losing. I don't know where all these people that are so charged up think that they're getting to. Like you think you're going to win and the whole country's just going to become Trump country and bow down to you. Or even the crazy left people, like you think you're going to be able to cancel people into this country being exactly how you want. It's just wild to me that things are this crazy.
I feel like we need to be, as Americans, put in a penalty box and all our social media has to be disabled.
Yeah, I agree.
If we could disable social media through the election, we can't go on Twitter, we can't go on Facebook, can't go on Instagram.
Can you imagine it would literally be 10 times, I think, as devastating as you can't leave your house for Corona.
Yeah.
I think people would lose their fucking mind.
I mean, I'm of the opinion social media clearly net negative for America.
Yeah.
It was a net positive for third world countries who had no access to information and were being fed misinformation from dictators, and they were able to topple governments. So that was positive. But here, net negative.
I agree. All right, what's our content? Because it's not social media.
My content is tune into an NBA game.
Okay.
Tune into a press conference, tune into a post-game interview, and just hear the conversations that they're having. Because specifically for the people who are the Law and Order crowd,
yep,
take a moment and listen.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yep.
Without judgment, hear their own experiences. These are rich millionaires. Mm-hmm. And they have negative experiences with police, with society. And they're famous and rich. Mm-hmm. But they're black.
Yep.
So just listen. Everyone wants Law and Order. And if you're that Law and Order Trumpster, mm-hmm. just listen to some of the conversations going on.
Yep. I agree. Fair enough.
Yeah. Mine is, so I like to watch something that makes me laugh before I go to sleep every night. So it's usually Seinfeld. But the last week I went through, like, similar to Anand, I just started watching random rom-com movies.
Yes.
And so I got into a Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton one called Something's Gotta Give. It's from 2003.
Yep.
It is Jack Nicholson's like this playboy in New York City who dates younger women, like models, and falls in love with one of the models or one of the women's mothers. It's an incredible, incredible movie. Really good. It's funny. It's lighthearted. I mean, I'm a believer that you should be very careful what you watch before you go to sleep.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think it does affect your mood. I think it
last night
affects
I
the way
watched
you sleep.
hurricane coverage and it did not go well.
No.
Speaking of Jack Nicholson, he's from the era where a lot of things were a little suspect.
Yeah, but he seems to be.
He's a party boy. He's a party boy. He's got away
scot-free.
I know. It's damn impressive. He's a known playboy, known partier.
It's impressive that he is even still mentally intact. You know, like still able to work and like he's I don't know what he's like as a guy, but like he seems to love the Laker games and be able to crank out movies. Okay, all right, that's a good one. Mine is I might have said this before. I'm going to go super out of the normal what we talk about here, but I do think I just want to throw this out there. I don't know who could do it. Maybe it's Pete. That we don't touch on this enough, and I've noticed Barstool is starting to really touch on it a lot. But is video games, in particular, Call of Duty. Is like the hot game that everyone's playing. It's like the new, you know, what Fortnite was. And from my understanding, even more than Fortnite was, right, Pete?
Pretty comparable.
Okay. And they just released the other day the trailer for their new game, Call of Duty Cold War. And I watched, and like, they create these big moments out of it. Like, it was an in-game moment where you had to log on at a certain time, and then you had to follow this like scavenger hunt, and then you went and it played the big trailer, and like all these streamers did it live on Twitch, and then they posted it on YouTube, and like just millions of views. I mean, just when it comes to marketing a product, and at the end of the whole thing, it's like you're instantly at a like pre-order now and get Call of Duty early, and you get a character and whatever, and like the level of moment for like young, especially dudes in this country that was the other day is like massive, you know?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Rittenhouse was essentially playing Call of Duty with a real gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you, like, you know how there are people, I've never played these games, so I have no sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
But like, do you feel that playing those games do make an impact on gun usage in real life?
Of course. I think without a doubt.
Yeah, I wonder. You would have to, I don't know. I think you'd have to think that to a certain degree. Maybe not crazy, but you would think to a certain degree. Because it is young kids murdering the shit out of other kids, and then they're like, I killed you, you F word, and then like, fuck you and your dead body, and then like they're shooting you. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's a little alarming.
In the wrong hands, it does a lot of damage.
Maybe if you're on the edge, you know, and you've been shooting people up all night, maybe desensitizes a little bit. But I don't think your average person. I think you'd have to then look at rap music. You'd have to look at movies. I think you'd have to look at a lot of things, you know.
Like even if they're playing
I'm not saying censor by any means. I'm saying it has an impact.
Yeah.
Does it have an impact?
I have trouble saying it doesn't. It's pretty brutal. I mean, like a special gun. Like I got this special gun that like dismembers people when I shoot them.
See, but how can you not get desensitized? Because the people who play these games don't play for 10 minutes. They play for 6 hours.
If not more.
So if you're just shooting,
and they watch it and it becomes a part of their life. But also the other thing is to tie back to actual reality. It's literally it's 3-dimensional. You're killing other humans on the game, essentially in this game world. Where it's like Fortnite's kind of like this like made up cartoon land. Call of Duty is like real life.
I mean, it's like being Grand Theft Auto, like one of the biggest selling games of all time, and you're just robbing people.
You're just running around robbing, killing, shooting, getting as many as you can. You die and then you do it again.
Yeah, like I'm bored. I'm gonna go kill some prostitutes.
Yeah, you kick the shit out of the prostitute in the side of the street.
You know how like there's always fathers who have daughters always say, my main goal is making sure my wife or my daughter stays off a stripper pole, right? Mine I've realized is I don't want, my main goal is to make sure my kid is not a member of the FaZe clan.
Listen, man, you might want that with the way things are going. For a young Indian boy in America, that might be a good dream.
And it would also be, it's young people that play these games. Does it influence their views on gun rights?
Good question. I don't know. This is one thing I can say. Early on in quarantine, I went real deep on Call of Duty, and there were multiple nights where I could not fall asleep for the life of me because like my adrenaline was so high because I felt like I was just on the verge of death like 7 times. Because it's scary, man. This shit's so real.
You're a grown-ass man.
I'm a grown-ass fucking man. But you're like creeping around and all of a sudden it's like, blah, blah, blah,
what's going on with Timmy from fucking Idaho?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
A Rittenhouse.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But there is some effect that isn't all positive.
Because they play till 4 or 5 in the morning, these kids.
Yeah, I played with Pete one night, and he's just running around with a freaking rocket launcher, just blowing people up. Everyone's shooting each other, and he's like, watch this. Highest score, most deaths, Pete. So if you want to look out for anyone, look out for this guy.
It's not an accident which games are the best selling.
Oh, they're all deaf.
There's no like mind game, like trivia that's number one. No. Is there a game that's popular that's not shooting or killing?
Yeah, there's one right now. What is the little cartoon one? Fall Guys.
Yeah, but I feel like that's like a quick little trend.
What is Fall Guys?
Fall Guys is just like, how do you even describe it?
It's not like a City or anything like that?
No, it's like these little cartoon characters and
dorks. We kill people out here.
But Fall Guys is like these little cartoon characters, and you just do a series of different like events. And you're a little guy that runs around, and you try to just place first in like 10 events.
That's like that's like when like Flappy Bird, caught on.
Type of thing.
Like it's
Like-
not like Angry Bird. It's not.
It's just cool for right now. But.
No,
But
Flappy
the bird was
Remember
angry
Flappy Bird,
still.
That stupid little. Remember
What
Flappy
happened
Birds?
to Pokemon Go? Just chase some Pokemon.
No,
Again.
why would you do that when you could kill them? All the big like franchises are guns. Guns are hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my content. Check it out. Look into. I mean, it just continues to blow my mind how absolutely massive these companies are, these businesses are, and I think quarantine has only like ratcheted it up massively.
Yeah.
And there's a new PlayStation coming at the end of the year.
You're on it.
On it. I'll see you there.
So we have a shout out from Keith Sager. His son Cole Sager turned 6 on Thursday the 27th, which is today when this episode comes out. For a second time, this kid's only 6. For a second time, he's stuck inside because of the hurricane hitting the Houston area. Harvey was his first one that ruined his birthday, and now this hurricane's ruining his birthday. He's an avid listener, Menlo Club member, and does not miss an episode.
Wow.
So happy birthday, Cole.
He's
You
6.
got a great dad.
He's 6 and he's an avid listener to the group
dad.
chat.
That wasn't clear. I was like, I felt bad. I'm like, your 6-year-old's listening? Jesus.
No, the dad's listening. He's trying to do something nice for his 6-year-old son's birthday. Stuck inside because of hurricanes. He did follow up today. They dodged a bullet. The hurricane missed Houston and surrounding areas, but it didn't hit them. So he's safe.
And shout out to Nick from our Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, bro. You got to give us a little more info next time, Nick. Where are you from? How old you're turning? We need some info.
Just Nick Coffin Nail VGD is his Twitch name.
Twitch names are Princeton, New Jersey, it looks like, 37 years old, or Nick Princeton is your name. Unclear. But Nick.
It's still very unclear. If you guys wonder what we're talking about, we're over on twitch.tv/groupchatpod. You can find us there every Thursday. We log in at 2:15 and go live for Winners Losers content. We're talking with him now. Some random guy named Nick is getting a shout out.
And he missed a pregnancy scare.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Didn't you have another shout out?
I did that on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that is it for the recorded portion of the episode. Thanks for listening.
You can always find us over on all the social medias, Group Chat Pod. Group Chat Pod 1 on Twitter. Working on getting Group Chat. We got a plug for that. So thanks for all the people that reached out about it. And you can find us over on Twitch at Group Chat Pod or twitch.tv/Group Chat Pod. And everyone on Twitter, Dee Murthy, Anand Murthy, Drama, Taylor Offer, and MelroseStreetJournal.com. That's it.
Wow, I feel very left out. Where's my shout out?
Tim Gamache music.
Oh, there we go.
Tim Gamache music.